Elsewhere in the region, the last U.S. combat troops are leaving Iraq, following the official declaration Thursday of an end to the nearly 9-year-long U.S. mission. And the end of the war makes 23-year-old Army Specialist David Hickman of Greensboro, North Carolina, the final American fatality. This according to the Pentagon. He died November 14th in an IED attack outside Baghdad. Hickman was the 4,484th American to die in Iraq. And joining us from Baghdad is correspondent Elizabeth Palmer. And Liz, I know you've been in and out of Baghdad now for almost a decade. How would you describe the city today?
In a word, Russ, it's broken. We were out driving around today. There's garbage everywhere, smashed concrete, blast walls. The services are not functioning very well at all. People are getting 5 to 6 hours of electricity a day. Hospitals are terribly overcrowded. In some areas, there's even problems with water. Iraqis are really fed up. They keep being told that theirs is an oil-rich country, so they're asking, oh yeah, well, where's the money being spent? Because it's not being spent on services for us.
Iraqis are fed up. How do they feel about Americans now that they're leaving?
Many Iraqis do respect and admire Americans, but there is still a boiling resentment. They feel Americans started the cycle of violence here, that they were guilty of violence through their own military, and nowadays Iraqis blame Americans for putting a corrupt and incompetent government in place. They point out that this government can't even keep Iraqis safe. One of the most vulnerable groups of people to random attacks are the Iraqi interpreters who used to work for the American military, and we met one of them over the past few days.
Too nervous to leave the house much these days, this 26-year-old we'll call Terry looks at his U.S. military souvenirs and recalls happier times when he worked for the American Army as a translator.
What did you do for the United States?
I helped them distinguish who's the good guys and who's the bad guys.
You're their eyes and ears, really.
Exactly.
In fact, he helped his unit catch Iraqis trying to cheat on U.S. reconstruction contracts. It made him a lot of enemies.
What will happen to you if you stay here?
We'll get killed.
Terry believed he'd qualify for resettlement in the U.S. under a program designed for Iraqis whose service to America left them in danger. Over a year on, he's still waiting.
Since 2007, almost 4,000 of these Iraqis under threat have received their visas. But suddenly, this year, that stream of approvals slowed to a trickle.
In 2009, 1,448 were granted. In 2010, 951. This year, just 322. The State Department's explanation: due to unspecified threats, it had enhanced the screening process to keep our country safe. This week, the White House said it's now taken steps to streamline the process and is working to clear the backlog.
People in the White House have lost their sense of urgency on this.
In 2005, Kirk Johnson was a USAID worker in Iraq. Now back home, he heads the LIST Project, an organization that supports threatened Iraqis.
Death threats that have been forwarded to me over the years, usually they're delivered in an envelope with a blood-soaked bullet. Sometimes it's sent with the knife. For the first time ever in 5 years, I've been feeling the need to tell these Iraqis that they probably should start making plans somewhere else.
Terry isn't ready to do that yet.
What do you hope to achieve in the United States?
If you work hard, you can be something.
So it represents opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And also safety.
Exactly, yeah.
Indoors and out of sight, he's still hoping to get a visa and to be alive when it finally comes through. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, Baghdad.